This is an It Came from GenX video.
Hey, welcome everybody. Good evening to It Came from GenX. Okay. I am Keith Porter alongside my man. I call him the Skin Bone, Michael Skinner. And my other brother, I call him Fish, a.k.a. Brian Fisher. We are It Came from GenX, the show about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness through the eyes of GenXers. We try to cover, we stick to a few main categories such as music, sports, pop culture, and world news. And we hope that you are enlightened. We hope that you laugh. We hope that you get angry. We hope that you get embarrassed for us. We hope that you throw something at your radio or whatever you're listening to and just enjoy the show. But before we do that, I want to say hello to our other host, Mr. Michael Skinner. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Busy weekend. Got to spend Friday night with Mr. Cooper and Miss Cooper, and we missed you on Friday. It was a classic Van Halen tribute band night, and
yeah, I think I've seen.
Had a good time. And my uncle's retirement party was yesterday, so got to see family and friends of family that I hadn't seen for a while. Ended up being a great day. Hot, okay, but great day. So shout out to Uncle Donnie. Happy retirement. Can't wait to get out on the golf course with you.
All right. Excellent. Sounds great. Fish, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man. Well, Skinner forgot I was there, too, Friday, apparently, so that's okay.
He said he had a good time.
I said you
That's
were.
why he didn't miss.
No. That makes sense.
Well, when he said good time.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun. So Neil Zaza, I will give a shout out to him as well, an Akron guitar legend. They opened up for this, like he said, it was a classic Van Halen from California, Atomic Punks. They've been coming around to this area for 6-7 plus years down to Lock 3 in downtown Akron. So a lot of fun. It's all David Lee Roth era Van Halen. So
okay,
very talented, a lot of fun. It was a beautiful evening, and the rest of the weekend was just kind of hanging out, chilling out, and exercising, errands, stuff like that. It was a hot weekend here, so it was kind of laid low a little bit more. Yeah.
I gotta say though, I'm surprised to hear Neil Zaza opening for anybody in this area.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he was such a big status. I mean, I even seen him on a commercial one time. So I think he'd have to open for someone in his own area. Kind of surprising, but good for him though. Okay, I had a good weekend. Saturday was a very, very busy day. Our church was out. We set up a big table on the corner and just started feeding people, fed a lot of kids, just started feeding people, hot dogs, a bag of chips, free ice water. And those that wanted it, we offered prayer to, and you wouldn't believe the people that came by with all sorts of issues and problems and things that wanted prayer. It was one of the best days I've had in a long time. And I was very, very proud of my church. Everybody stepped up, and it was a great but exhausting day. So I'm one of those that believe that if your church isn't out helping people, then you're just kind of wasting your time. So we'll be doing that, if not every week, every other week, something where we're out in the public helping people. Other than that, just been home taking care of business and looking forward to tonight. So before we get cracking, Fish, tell them where they can find the show.
Absolutely. So prayer lines over here, and you get the GenX promo stuff over here on the other end of the table, if you are so inclined. Yeah.
or does the promo come first, then you need the prayer?
That's right. Yeah, if you just pull up... Now, we're going to give you the prayer. Now, just before we do that, I'd like you to pull up your phone here, please. I'm going to get just a little simple subscribe to the podcast.
Right.
Yeah, or you can follow these instructions here I'm about to share with you right now. So, you know what? We will pray for you if you would like after we share where that's right, where you can find us here. So you might be listening to us on WMVU.org, Global Internet Radio, Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Just pull up their site or their app and live listen, and you can hear us there. Also, there are other fine content, free music, and other shows all for free there. Go check them out, WMVU.org. Listen to us whenever you feel like it, on demand. We can be found on many podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Verbal, a lot of other stuff out there. So just pull up wherever you listen to podcasts, search the It Came From GenX podcast. Simply give us a follow or subscribe. As we post new episodes weekly, they'll pop into your podcast feed free of charge, and listen to us whenever you have time, maybe in between prayers or something along that line. All show information can be found in two main areas. Our link tree, just pull up link tree, It Came From GenX. It's simply a page with links to our social media, our YouTube channel, It Came From GenX, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And our website, itcamefromgenx.wordpress.com. Again, all show information is there, links to social media, links to where you can listen to us, links to videos, recent episodes, promos, bios, all that good stuff there. And if you choose to sponsor the show, you can find us on our Patreon account, patreon.com/itcamefromgenx. Also a link for that on our website. Best thing you can do is tell a friend, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. And that's how we grow a little bit. We appreciate your support out there. Thanks for listening. And there you go. Back to you, Keith.
And, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention, you heard all the different platforms and media outlets that Fish told you about, but this show debuts Mondays at 7 on WMVU.org.
That's right.
It's Monday night at 7 o'clock, and we just couldn't thank them enough, and Christopher's Dominic for making this all happen. If you like what you hear and like what you see, we got to give kudos to our man, Brian Fisher, who produces this video each week, does a fantastic job, and we thank him so much. And our podcast is produced by our own Michael Skinner's son, Michael Skinner Jr., aka Junior, aka the boss, and he does an amazing job from quite a few states away. And
Absolutely.
We can't thank him enough for his hard work and his faithfulness each and every week. So
thank you.
Get this thing cooking. All right. Man, I just got to tell you guys something real quick, though. I just want you to know what I'm working on. I haven't said anything for a while, but I am determined to do something from our childhood that has bugged me my entire life. Rubik's Cube.
Yep.
I am sick of this. I am going to conquer this, and I am very, very close. There's one little thing I don't understand yet, but I'm going to get it. And I'm so deep into it that somebody talked me into getting what they call a speed cube. And because the hand movement is so important when you solve this, and a regular Rubik's Cube gets stuck. This thing moves so lightning fast. It's amazing. And it's what you learn on. So I found a speed cube on Amazon, and I've been practicing on this thing, and I'm going to conquer that. So I'm going to keep you posted, but I wanted you to know, I wanted to announce it on our show. That is one thing I've been wanting to determined to do my entire life, and that's solve Rubik's Cube. So,
and you cannot take the stickers off and put them on, and
that's how I used to
move
do
them
it.
Around that way.
That's how I used to do it. But these are painted. There's no, I'm not painted, but they're colored like that. There's no stickers on the speed cubes. They can't cheat.
Is it a Rubik's Cube speed cube, or is it a version of a Rubik's Cube called a speed cube?
It is the practice cube. It is what you practice on to master a Rubik's Cube. So, you can tell the difference immediately. It's really slick, and you got to be careful because it moves so easy and fast, but you have to practice the hand movements to solve a Rubik's Cube properly. So very interesting. All right, guys, we got some great listeners all over, and we want to thank them very much. We appreciate you guys. All the different businesses that we like to mention on our show, and all the different people. We just want to say thank you so much for listening to Came From GenX, and we'll probably talk about you at the end of the show. But right now, let's get cooking with some world news. Skinner.
All right. I ran into a story that I thought would be interesting for conversation. The headline is, a new study finds millennials don't stray far from where they grew up. So what the study found is that 75% of I don't want to say children, young adults by the age of 26, they are not far from home. Let me give you some quick numbers. 80% moved less than 100 miles from their original home. There's 90% resides less than 500 yards or 500 miles, away. And then there's 95% of the people are within 1,000 miles. Now, what they say is the migration distances are shorter for Black and Hispanics compared to white and Asian young adults, and children of higher incomes, parents traveled further away from their hometowns than those of less wealthy parents, according to the study. So,
now, real quick, was this survey done in the Skinner home?
I was just going to say.
Well, here's the thing.
I was going to say 80% of the Skinner home is within 5 yards.
Yeah, no kidding.
Of the home because they're in the home.
We do have Chelsea that's in Montana, and we have Michael that's in Washington, D.C., and then the rest of them are here in Ohio. So 75% of the people don't leave home after age 26. So I got to thinking, and I'll get you guys' comments on this. Let's just take us four amigos. Brian Fisher, John Cooper, Keith Porter, and myself. 3 out of the 4 of those people never left Ohio, and 2 of those 4 never left Kenmore.
Yep.
I did leave for a period of time, and of course I came back. So by age 26, I guess I fell into that category too, because I was already home at age 26, but I had spent 4 years out on the West Coast. So it's interesting, and I had told you guys I was going to do this story, and Michael comes back and says, "Yep, I debunked that story because he's 29 years old. He lives out of state, and he said out of the 12 friends of his that he named, 3 of them have moved away along with Michael. So there's 75% of his group has stayed in the Akron area. So it's pretty interesting." So you can really put this in millennials, put it with Gen Xers too. There's just something about where you grow up, where you put your hat at night, or what they say is where you hang your hat.
Right.
I loved being on the West Coast, but I love being at home more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, it makes sense.
I gotta like to hear your guys' take real quick. I'd like to hear you guys' take as to why you stayed and why you haven't ventured away.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll go because I have to agree with Junior. I don't agree with that study. Now, I want to say this: I don't disagree with it. I think it's subjective. Those factors you named, I think they all play into them by race, by economics. I think there's a lot of things that play into it. I look in my own family. My son's not far away, but he was in California, and he's not home now. He's, I got to drive an hour to see him. My nieces, they're in Columbus. I got 2 nephews in Arizona. My sister's in California. But me, myself, I made up my mind a while ago. I don't know if it's because of playing in bands and traveling around or what, but I made up my mind a while ago. I got tired of people talking about, I can't wait to get out of Akron. There ain't nothing in Akron. I always felt, I'm sure there's some more exciting places to live, but I always thought it was what you make of it. And I made up my mind a long time ago. I wasn't going anywhere. One, I knew I wasn't going far from my mom. My mind was made up by that. I just loved and cared about her too much. Wanted to keep an eye on her. I also felt that, we really are blessed. Not a lot of tornadoes, earthquakes, hurricanes. Yeah. I mean, we are in a prime location, and I just learned to appreciate that. So I just thought, I'm going to learn to appreciate Akron where I am, deal with it. When it's cold out, I ain't going to complain. Wear warm clothing. When it's hot out, stay out of the sun. Just deal with it. So that's how I feel about it. But I think I just don't think it's definitive to be able to say what that study is saying. I don't know what their sample size was and how they're basing that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I, as you guys know, I grew up an only child, so I've always been pretty close to my mom and dad, and the thought of moving away from them and friends, it's just I've been blessed to have, you guys and other friends I consider family, and to uproot and leave a lot of that behind, all that behind. Now, obviously, you can stay connected and blah blah blah, but us growing up, it wasn't as easy to stay connected neither. I mean, you think about it; it's in our generation. If we all would have moved away in our 20s, heck, even in our early 30s, it wasn't as easy to stay connected beyond a phone.
Right.
So that's a factor as well. So, yeah, and like you said, economics, job opportunities, and then obviously once you start having kids, that changes the whole dynamic right there. Then you're just wherever your kids are, of course. But you're right, Keith. As I've gotten older, Keith, I've thought about that to where it's like, okay, now kids grow up and you have an opportunity to maybe live elsewhere with find another job or something like that. But you're right, as
never appealed.
As the climate change and different things has continued to progress, so you just learn that. Yeah, I mean, in this area, it's not weather-wise, it's not that bad. The snow isn't that bad. We have a great park system all through this area in Northeast Ohio. A lot of things to do, and you could, there's plenty of things around here to do. So,
and we're not far from anything.
Exactly right. So,
can I bring up something? A point you brought up, Fish,
Go ahead.
A really important point. Another reason I don't agree with the study is this. Like Fish was saying, it wasn't that easy to stay in touch back then. Now, millennials especially, technology has brought us so close together. You're never really that far. I mean, right. I remember one Thanksgiving, all my family in California got together and we were there. I said, hey, just set your computer up, man, and on Skype. We all had Thanksgiving together, different ones could walk to the camera and say hello and talk. And it was like we were together,
Sure.
So, with FaceTime and all this stuff, it brings us closer together. And I think it's pretty cool. So hard for me to agree with that.
All right.
But very interesting study, though.
Do you see yourselves now? So, as obviously we continue to get older, we have less responsibilities. Parents will get older. Eventually, all our, it's just unfortunate reality. Yeah. Parents will pass on. And so, do you ever picture yourself moving up, or no? You're just set in this area. This is it.
Listen, it's like I said, it's subjective. Some people are, they never made a whole lot of close friends. They might not have a big family. They might have been an only child. There's different circumstances for everybody. I got a lot of family here. I'm rooted with my family, and my friends mean everything to me. I just don't have any reason. I see an opportunity to travel and do other things.
Yeah.
But as far as my home, I'm fine right here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. Thank you so much, Skinner.
Interesting.
That was great. All right. So, if that be all with that one, let's move on to some sports and music. Oh, wait a minute. That's me. All right. Okay.
That is you.
Guys, not a lot of sports to talk about. Training camps have started in the NFL. That's very exciting. We are very close to the preseason. I mean, I don't know if you guys realize that. So I'm extremely excited. I think we all are. All of our teams are going through some changes. There's anticipation with Skinner's 49ers with Trey Lance and his Browns on their situation. Of course, Fish has a healthy Dak Prescott and want to see what Dallas does now, and definitely my Steelers with the retiring of a legend and their change in offense. I'm very excited about the Steelers. I watched a great thing on ESPN the other day, or on NFL Network. They was picked as the dangerous team to watch out for that nobody's talking about. So I'm excited about that. So good for football. But speaking of Steelers, guys, I think it was you, Fish, that sent a very disturbing video to us all the other day on Messenger. And I don't have much to say about it, but boy, Antonio Brown I'm really scared to talk about this guy. I like talking about him negatively because I don't like what he did to his children and the mother of his children. Or let me rephrase that, to the mother of his children in front of his children. But other than that, I'm kind of concerned that this guy might have some brain damage going on up there from football. It was a video of him. I guess he fancies himself as a rapper now.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to like Google the video to see the, how he was dancing and the whole 9 yards. And man, have you guys ever seen a player of that magnitude of talent fall from grace so hard? Now, one of the best memes I've seen in a long time was the meme of Howard Cosell standing there with Bruce Jenner on one side and OJ on the other one. It goes, man, I gotta tell you the future of these two guys. That was just like the best meme ever. But other than that, yeah, that's classic. Can you guys even think of an athlete that fell so hard from grace, as far as being, possibly the best at their position and whatever sport, to now kind of a joke of themselves? I know this is kind of on the spot right now, but can you think of anybody offhand, Fish?
Man, but it's hard to think of that. I mean, you're right. I mean, OJ might be.
Well, yeah.
Oh gosh, it's a whole different level.
That's a whole nother level, and of course, Aaron Hernandez.
I was thinking that too. From the Patriots. That was a very. By the way, check out that documentary if you haven't seen that. That's really youch. That's very dark and disturbing. I think it's on Netflix. Yes, it's not. But no, I can't think a whole lot more to where it's like you're at the top of your game and then you fall out of the sport and then you're trying to do something different. It's really hard to think of anything beyond him, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to limit it to somebody trying something different. Just somebody who's went from basically being a millionaire, doing something that thousands of people would trade their kidney to be in their position, and then just out on the bottom. You mentioned OJ. We talked about Aaron Hernandez. Of course, there was Ray Caruth, the wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers.
Michael Jordan. You could. It's in the conversation when he tried to play baseball for a minute. It's in the conversation. When he's in the greatest basketball player in the world, and he goes and plays minor league baseball for a minute. It was like, what is happening? He
could have joined the PBA, and some people wouldn't have cared. So
you're right. That was really that was shocking at the time. But then obviously he came back, and then they won a couple more three more championships, I think. But still, that was one. That was close.
So Skinner, to me, one person I can think of recently, we got Henry Ruggs from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Just stupidly.
I have a name that might shock you, but might make you laugh at the same time. Tanya Harding.
Wow, that's a good one. That is a good one. You went from possible Olympic hopeful to just being completely excoriated as being complicit in aggravated assault. So
that's a good one. Yep.
And another one for football, when you first mentioned it and asked, Terrell Owens came into mind as well. He didn't fall as far from graces, but I
don't like the guy either. But that's kind of hard to say. The guy just got put in the Hall of Fame.
He left a bad taste in your mouth when he retired.
Yeah, he did. But
he handled the Hall of Fame stuff weird. That's for sure. His legacy is definitely tarnished some with all that, but he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he went out bad. He went out of the NFL bad.
Yeah, it was weird.
Kind of like Antonio Brown did, team to team, trouble.
His own Hall of Fame ceremony. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, man?
And he was angry because he probably got snubbed. But some of the things you did, you left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So
exactly.
Anyway, that's my only music thing. I hate to see people go out like that, and I don't want to mention this person because, passed away, and I'm not trying to make fun of him, but I'm still so upset over our own beloved Ohio State quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. I just think there should have been more logic, common sense involved in this. He should have never been put in that situation or put himself in that situation. Your car breaks down or whatever. But, man, to run out of gas as a millionaire and famous. You just can't do that. Not in this day and age. People are crazy.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I'll say one more. Pete Rose. What about Pete Rose?
Oh gosh, yes. Oh yeah.
The most hits in history, and he makes dumb moves with the gambling, and they won't let it. They'll never let him back in there.
Yeah.
You can talk about the guys that did drugs, like the McGuire and Bonds and those guys as well. They really tarnished theirs, but still, Pete Rose really knocked himself out of the
he
Hall
really
of Fame.
Did.
Yeah.
And how about Tim Donaghy, the referee in the NBA?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man. Yep. It's good. There's a good documentary on that too out there. So yeah, good stuff. Very interesting.
And some people did some shameful things and worked their way back. How about Marv Albert?
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah.
He made a comeback. So
he completely disgraced himself and came back.
Yes, he did. So okay.
Like, did he bite some lady or something weird like that? Yes.
Yes, and it counts.
That's like, you know what? I like Marv Albert.
He's the character.
I'm willing to forget it. I'm willing to forget it.
He was so cool. Let's not worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's move on, guys, to a little bit of music news. Okay, so guys, there are a couple things that happened today in music that sparked me to put you guys on blast and in pre-production here. So.
Sure did.
Yeah, it's all right. It was good for you. Get the brains moving. So one of the things that caught my eye, and there are two separate dates here. 1984, Willie Mae, Big Mama Thornton, passed away at age 58 in Los Angeles of heart and liver complications. And she had a number one R&B hit in 1953 by the name of Hound Dog, which we all know was later recorded by Elvis Presley. Became an even much bigger hit, and a lot of people will tell you he wrote the song. They don't know about Big Mama Thornton. So a little bit of controversy. Was it a remake? Was it stolen? Blah 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 blah. So for the sake of this, we'll call it a remake. And it brought me to ask the question: what are your top 5 remakes of all time? Now, also 1971 on this day, T-Rex was number 1 in the UK with "Get It On," and that song was recorded by one of my favorite groups, Power Station. Mm-hmm. And with great job with that song. So I asked you guys to list your top 5 remakes of all time, and I'm going to say this to the audience because it was impossible for me to just pick 5. I did 5 for the sake of this show, but my list could go on and on and on and on and on. It's just impossible. But we picked 5 for the sake of the show. So Skinner, we're going to talk to you about your top 5 remakes of all time.
All right. You can rank them 1 to 5, but you can go 1 to 5, 5 to 1. I mean, these all to me are pretty close in stature. Rockin' Robin by Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5.
I didn't see that coming.
Bobby Day was the original artist for Rockin' Robin.
I can't wait to see how shocked I am at these. You got me already off the cuff. Okay.
I have Big Mama Thornton and Elvis with Hound Dog. Okay. I'm not as big a fan as Elvis as you are, mm-hmm. but Hound Dog is definitely one of those songs that I will listen to over and over again. Bad Company, Five Finger Death Punch has redone it from
one of my favorite. Man, one of the best vocal performances ever.
I love it's that incredible. Yeah. And these next 2 are just as good.
Great call.
Simple Man from Shinedown, originally from
Leonard Skinner.
Geez, okay. Yeah. And then my number 1. And like I said, you can actually, the top 3, you can flop them. Absolutely. Turn a Page from Metallica. Redid Bob Seger. I like Bob Seger's version, but I'll listen to Metallica's version every single time.
Wow.
So those are my top 5 remakes.
That's a great list. The 2 that stick out to me, number 5, I was shocked at that one. Rockin' Robin. And
Rockin' Robin.
Yeah, I know, right? And man, the Five Finger Death Punch cover of Bad Company is just sensational. When I heard that, and I heard that voice, company, I just got chills, man.
Yeah, it gives you goosebumps. It still does
Absolutely.
To me. It gives me goosebumps.
And the video even better. A tribute to our military. The video is awesome. So urge you to check it out. Any thoughts on his list, Fish?
No, it's a solid list.
But you said that like his list is better.
I don't know. I mean, I like rock. I like the Jackson 5, their version of Rockin' Robin. It was okay. It's good. Young Michael.
Yeah, it was okay to me. It was good, but it didn't come to mind. Okay, well, take your shot, Fish. See what you got.
All right, there's so many out there. It's just these are just some that come to mind. The Johnny Cash version of "Hurt," 9 Inch Nails.
Wow.
That was his last album before he passed on. Such a you haven't heard that lately. Just a very powerful version of that song.
Okay, check it out.
A whole different feel.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite '80s songs. I didn't realize this was a cover. "Tainted Love" by Soft Cell. That's all decade song of the '80s. You know, it's Jimi Hendrix, "All Along the Watchtower."
Bob Dylan. Took one of mine.
Yeah,
that's
Bob
my
Dylan
number
cover.
2.
Such a good song. That's Jimi Hendrix all the way. One of the newer one. I've always liked this song, the original as well. "Sounds of Silence," but Disturbed did a very good cover.
Yes, they did. Yes.
Yeah, very true to the original with Simon and Garfunkel, and just a very great vocals. And this the song here, this cover song, was the catalyst of '80s hair metal. Was the whole era of our.
If you take my song, I'm gonna smack you.
I'll bet it's maybe I did. "Come On, Feel the Noise," Quiet Riot. It was they did not even want to do it. It was a Slade cover song. They didn't want to do it, and their management team said you got to do it, and they did it in one take. I think if I recall correctly,
first
shot the video
heavy metal album song to go to number 1 ever history.
And that album there, Metal Health, as we know, was like the first big '80s hair metal album in the early '80s, and it blew up after that.
Started it all, yes.
Yep. So you got to say that one. And
that was a great album.
Yeah.
Well,
it is a great album.
I told Skinner before we started the show that I doubt that any of us would have the same in any of these lists. And here Fisher got me for 2 of them. I certainly had "Come On, Feel the Noise" down at number 5, and I had "All Along the Watchtower" at number 2, and it's one of my favorites.
So good.
That groove, just oh my gosh. So, what do you think of his list, Getter? Anything stand out to you?
Oh, it's a solid list too. "Come On, Feel the Noise." I think back to my childhood when that first came out, and then I realized it was a cover, and then I listened to the rest of that Mental Health album. I was hooked.
Great album. Yep.
On hair metal after that.
Wow. Yeah. That song, man, I couldn't play it enough when I first heard it. I never heard anything so fresh and so powerful. And being a young drummer, man, just to hear Frankie Banali going crazy or something. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make a quick replacement for my number 5 with QR3. I actually had an extra number 5, so I'm really still at 5, if you want to know the truth. So my first one, number 5 is Van Halen, "You Really Got Me."
Okay.
Originally by the Kinks.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever heard a sound like Van Halen's. Eddie's
good cover.
Original guitar sound. And Alex Van Halen did something that you didn't hear any drummers do. You know, there was standard when you got a crash cymbal, you hit it and crash. You have a ride cymbal, you ride it, you get kind of a bell tinging sound. Well, he would ride his crash cymbal. Just the sheer all behind the vocals, and it just made the fullest, most amazing sound. And I give him credit for inventing that. And I thought that was a great cover. Tied at number 5, man, the song "Gimme Shelter." was remade by Stone Sour, Puddle of Mud, but it was a Rolling Stone song, and it's just one of my favorite songs in history. Okay, so number 4, Proud Mary by Ike and Tina Turner. Original by Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's just an all-time classic song. I don't know what's better, listening to it or watching them perform it. They did something different. They, as she said in the movie, we're going to be slow and nice. Then we're not going to be so slow and nice. And they take it to a whole other level.
Proud Mary is what it was on my honorable mention as well.
Okay,
cool. Great cover.
Well, we're on the same wavelength today. Number 3, man, I gotta go with "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston, and certainly honorable mention to the original of Dolly Parton because I love her version as well. That song was huge, one of the biggest selling movie soundtracks of all time. Was a great one. Of course, I had "All Along the Watchtower" at number 2, and number 1. Oh man, does anything say romance better than "Unchained Melody" by the Righteous Brothers?
Okay, that's a good one.
Oh God, I love that song. Originally by Les Barkley? Might be reading it wrong, but gosh, that song is just man, it just does something to you, especially if you got a significant other in your life. So very important to me. Okay, thoughts on that list, Skinner?
Again, solid list. You can't go wrong with, I think, any of our 15.
Not at all.
15 songs. Unchained Melody, that's a very, very good song. And that brings back to what is the movie with
Ghost.
The Ghost movie. That movie made that song made a comeback.
Yeah.
When that movie was put out. So kudos to you. That was a good list.
Fish?
No, good stuff. I mean, can't add more than that.
Okay. All right. Top 5 one-hit wonders. Okay. This Day in Music, Terrence Trent D'Arby. Oh my gosh, what an arrogant so-and-so. He was number 1 in the UK, also hit big over here in the US with Wishing Well. I think his career was derailed from the start when he bragged about being the greatest new artist since whoever. He wasn't well received after those remarks, but Wishing Well was a pretty big song, but he was a one-hit wonder. So I thought it'd be great if we list our top 5 one-hit wonders. Again, this list could go 20, 30, or whatever, but we'll start with you this time, Fish. Top 5 one-hit wonders.
All right, again, there's tons out there. These are 5 of my personal favorites here. I like the Promises by Johnny Hates Jazz. It's one of the top, in my opinion, one-hit wonders of the 80s.
Okay.
You would know the song if you heard it.
I'm sure I would.
It's just a catchy 80s song. I like it. Buggles, Video Killed the Radio Star.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. I mean,
and that's history too.
Yeah, that's right. First video on MTV, the Buggles, a lot of historical significance. And these other ones, every time I hear them, they're just catchy songs. I just love hearing them. Tommy Two-Tone, 8675309. If you're in our generation, you know that song. You could probably recite most of it right now. The Knack, My Sharona, just a ridiculous song. How do you get something to rhyme with My Sharona? You just add Sharona to the end of it, or Rona to the end of the word, and there you have it. That's how it rhymes, easy enough. And Norman Greenbaum, I've read this song here is his only hit, and to this day he still lives on the royalties from this song. Apparently, Spirit in the Sky. I love that song.
Yeah.
Catchy, just a nice song.
And that
good
could be under the
messaging and all
remake
that.
list too.
I guess so. Right. So there you go. Norman Greenbaum's that's 5 of my favorite one-hit wonders.
Okay, interesting list. You got a couple I have not heard, but I probably would know if I heard them, but I can't recall what they were. But definitely some good stuff in there. Thoughts on this list, Skinner? Anything stood out to you?
Pretty solid list. The one song you mentioned I hadn't heard as well. So
Promises, Johnny Hates Jazz. Check it out.
Yeah, Johnny Hates Jazz. I for some reason I remember that name, but nothing comes to mind as far as the music. So I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, My Sharona was a really popular song. I remember we had a guy named Mike Verona was a musician in this area, and every time he walked in the bar, whatever band was playing was start singing Mike Ferrone. Yeah, he got so tired of it. So great. All right, Skinner, what do you got, buddy?
Pretty funny. All right, yeah. My number 5 is Tequila by the Champs.
Yeah,
that kind of brings back because we played Tequila in band, sitting on the sidelines. Yeah, that was one of our cheer chants.
Thought that'd be more Fish's top hit, but like,
right.
I do like that song.
The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy. Interesting local song. Here, it's played a lot here locally in Cleveland. Number 3, Rock Me Amadeus.
Falco. Yeah, that was a great one.
Mm-hmm.
That song, I had the 45 for that song. I'm taking it way back. I had the little 45 vinyl for that song because the rest of the album sucked. But I had the 45 for that one. Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry. Later was remade by good Lord, White Boy. Play That Funky Music, White Boy. Vanilla Ice. Good Lord. Sorry, folks. I did drawn a blank there. Vanilla Ice redid that one.
Okay.
And then my number 1, which goes way back, and it's the 80s song of the decade, Come On Eileen by the Texas Midnight Riders.
Oh, yeah.
Remember poor Eileen Hill in junior high? She hated
it. Oh, man.
But you can't think of 80s without listening to that song, truthfully.
Well, I really like the Boys Are Back in Town. I got a great appreciation for that song, and my band plays it, Rock Generation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an easy song, and it is a very, very interesting neighborhood hangout song. Very interesting lyrics. I think it's really, really great. Any thoughts, Fish? Anything stick out?
Yeah, just definitely some fun songs. I mean, I like I love that song Tequila, and also made I got a little resurgence with the Pee Wee Herman movie. You might remember Pee Wee Herman dancing on the bar, the motorcyclist, and all that. Yeah. Great song. I heard it last weekend. It's still very catchy and fun.
Yeah, very catchy. A lot of that rhythm itself. Dun, 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 everybody can do that. Certainly the Come On Eileen, one of the early 80s catchy song. And, with Dexy's Midnight Runner and then Falco. That was great. Okay. All right, guys, here's my list. Number 5, I got Aha, Take On Me. One of my favorite songs, one of my favorite videos of all time. Just different sounding. I love the guy's voice in that song. It was really, really cool. Number 4, man.
Great video.
It's great video.
Hang on, I got to interrupt you. Neil Zaza did Aha on Friday night.
No joke.
Yeah,
he
that was
did,
really cool.
And it was
instrumental
absolutely
version.
Fantastic.
Okay, excellent. Number 4, man, one of the group songs you can just groove to. And as soon as you hear that boom, boom in the beginning, Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Game changer when they came out, and I just love that song.
Remember the shirts? Frankie says relax. Just the white shirt with the big black lettering. Frankie says relax.
Yeah. And surprisingly enough, that's not even my favorite song by them. They have a song called The Power of Love. If you watch that video, man, it's very religious, but just very powerful. Number 3.
I'll mention by the way, Aha, real quick. They did a James Bond theme. They did Living Daylight. Yes, they did. They did Living Daylights, Timothy Dalton's first movie in 1987.
I didn't know that. I didn't recall that.
Okay. It's one of my favorite James Bond theme songs. So
there's so many of those. We could do a list of those.
Have a listen there, by the way.
Okay.
Great song by Aha. Yep.
Number 3, 99 Luft Balloons.
Mm-hmm. Very catchy.
I just love that when that came out. Just the doom, that part was good enough for me. And number 2, you guys are definitely going to appreciate this one. Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy.
my God.
Song still grooves today, baby.
It's so bad. Today. It's so bad. It's good.
Exactly.
It's so bad. It's good.
Exactly.
That's the best way to put it.
Rick James, the producer.
If Rick was involved, it was great. And you guys are going to not believe my first one. I don't even know if you heard it before. But number 1, The Freaks Come Out at Night by Houdini.
Yeah, great song.
Yeah, I've heard it. Yep.
What is
the Freaks Come Out at Night.
Yes, I could have went on and on with this list. Yeah, great.
I think they broke up shortly after that or something. Great song. Great song. Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Now, also this day in music, a band I hate to admit, but yes, I used to listen to back in junior high school. Band by the name of Air Supply, 1981, went to #1 in the U.S. with The One That I Love, the first Australian band to top the U.S. single chart. It was the era of the power ballads. Of course, power ballads carried on into the 90s and even a little bit after that. We still have them today, but not like back then. So I thought it would be cool. We have our top 5 power ballads list, and I'll go ahead and go first on this one. Number 5, I have a 2-way tie. Like, this could go on forever. But I got Scorpions' Still Loving You and Def Leppard's Foolin'.
Yeah,
just
good.
Pleasing to the ear. Man, just powerful chords, great, amazing vocals. Number 4, I have I Still Love You by Kiss. We had talked about this last week.
Yeah, good song.
Definitely my song. And getting away from the heavy metal era, number 3, Cinder My Love by Journey.
Oh, yeah, great song.
I could also put in Why Can't This Night Go On Forever by Journey, too. Man. Number 2, when I worked at Quonset Hut record store, we got a promo before this song was ever released, before it was ever put to a movie. And when I heard it, I looked at the people. I said, this song's going to win a Grammy. They laughed at me. 2 years later, it won the Grammy for Song of the Year. Kiss from a Rose by Seal. Just one of my
good song.
That's a good song. Yep.
And number 1, the song that it was my first experience with a power ballad. That I sang over and over in the dark when I thought I was in love at 12 years old, but Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler.
Yep. Good stuff.
Skinner?
Oh, no, good stuff. Solid picks.
Okay. What do you got there, Fish?
Okay. Let's see. Again, tons and tons of these as well. 5 of my favorites. Okay, I've got Freebird.
Oh.
Leonard Skinner.
Play from Skinner, absolutely.
It's, if you know, somebody's like, Freebird, everybody yells it out as any live band or whatever. But it's a fun, classic song.
It's emotional, then it takes off, great.
Yeah, it's quintessential Southern rock for sure. I also have Def Leppard keys, but I have Bringing on the Heartbreak. So same album, just the other. The new version with the
keyboards or the original.
Original.
Absolutely.
Original. Yep. One of my favorite Foreigner songs. Definitely definitely a cheesy ballad, but I like it still. Just the same. I Want to Know What Love Is. Foreigner. Yeah. Probably it might be their biggest hit commercially.
Without question.
Great song, great vocals. We talked about this one last week, Guns N' Roses. I'm wearing Guns N' Roses shirt in honor of our Guns N' Roses discussion last week here. But November Rain, Guns N' Roses. Great ballad. I think it's your favorite Guns N' Roses song. Great song.
Amazing arrangement.
And the great Prince, Purple Rain, number 1 for me.
Oh, man.
Damn you, Fish.
Yeah. Is that a good one? I mean,
there you have it.
That's... Wow, you nailed it with that one, buddy.
Yeah, hard to top that one from us 80s kids. Yeah.
Very hard to top. Skinner, show us what you got. He hit you already. I see.
He hit me on 2 of them. My number 1 and number 2 are very simple. November Rain, Guns N' Roses, and Purple Rain from Prince.
There you go.
Before we even started thinking about it, those 2 came to mind right off the get-go.
Fish doubled up on both of us. Okay.
Yeah, he sure did. Here I Go Again by Whitesnake.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I could have picked several Whitesnake songs.
Every time you're single and you break up and you're single again, it's like, time to roll out this Whitesnake song.
Every time Skinner heard the words, I'm pregnant.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
He was at Walmart buying diapers. Here I go.
Yeah, here I go again.
Cue the Whitesnake album.
Yes. Okay. All right, go ahead, Skinner.
All right, here's another one that's near and dear to my heart because I would play it for my mom when I was coming home from the military. It's Mama, I'm Coming Home from Ozzy. It is by far one of my favorite songs from Ozzy Osbourne. It's got sentimental value for my mom, and it's even more dear to my heart after she's passed. Because
and
then number 5, Phil Collins, "Against All Odds."
Oh,
if you remember that song from the 80s.
Oh yeah,
very powerful song.
Yeah,
vintage Phil Collins, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's just an excellent list. You can't say anything about that list as well. The Mama I'm Coming Home, man, you just gave me goosebumps with that one. For the meaning behind it.
Absolutely.
Phil Collins, man, you could have named a couple with him too, as well as the White Snake. So, all right, great job, guys. I thought that was real interesting. I want to give kudos out to Skinner, who suggested doing a list show a while ago, and I think we'll be doing that down the road here real soon. So thanks for the last minute putting that together. And with that being said, pop culture.
Feel it in the air, elation.
A brand new fragrance from Impulse.
Excitement everywhere, elation, elation.
If a man you've never met before suddenly gives you flowers, that's elation. The exciting new fragrance from Impulse.
Elation.
All right. Well, as with a lot of pop culture, we start out with a couple passings, unfortunately, but we do want to pause and recognize people that we remember in the world of pop culture. The Hill Street Blues actor Taurean Blacque, Blacque. I hope I'm not butchering his name too badly here, but he played Detective Neil Washington on Hill Street Blues. Now, he was the black detective with like the cap and the toothpick. I remember him. If you saw a picture of him, you know exactly
I know who
he was. Yeah, so he passed away recently at the age of 82. He was an Emmy-nominated actor from that show.
Okay.
Yeah. He was also in different. He was in Sanford and the Son, What's Happening, Good Times, Taxi, Bob Newhart. So he was in a lot of shows in that era. Paul Sorvino, age 83.
Oh no!
Yeah, so he was most known for his role of. Let's see, he was in Goodfellas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was like one of the bosses.
Paulie. He was Paulie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was so good in those roles. Like some of these guys are just like made to play those gangster
they were just
type.
Made for him, right?
And he was just a natural in that. So just played it well, intimidating, and just very, very good. He was certainly in other things as well. He was in Nixon, Dick Tracy, Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order. One of the first detectives on Law and Order.
Absolutely. But yeah, so he, like I said, this is recent as well. And David Warner, he was an English actor, passed away at age 80. Again, you may not know the name, but if you saw him, you'll definitely recognize him here. So he was in Time Bandits, Time After Time. He played Jack the Ripper. And we talked about this on prior episodes. One of my favorite all-time horror movies, The Omen. He played alongside Gregory Peck. So the classic scene was there. So he kind of joins up with Gregory Peck on his quest to uncover what's going on with the Antichrist and everything. But that scene with him and Gregory Peck in the cemetery where they're trying to find, Damien's original mom. He was just a solid, believable actor. So he was in tons of stuff here.
What was his name again?
David Warner.
Okay.
So you look him up, you definitely recognize him when you see him. He's in a lot of different stuff. So
sure do.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah,
rest it. Yeah. But yeah.
He was great in Titanic.
That's right. He was in Titanic as well.
He was the manservant. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, so rest in peace to three fine actors of our time. this I just caught today. Just simply, a nice feel good story. It's we hear so much bad news out there. You talked about sports heroes, even on this show, that they kind of fallen from grace and all this and that. I just happened to catch this here. So
Before
a
you
woman
say that,
on.
Can I comment on the three dead people that passed away?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Real
Please,
quick, I just
that's
want
fine.
to say,
sure.
I didn't know much about the guy Hill Street Blues, but Hill Street Blues was my first introduction into the TV drama. I loved it. One of the greatest theme songs of all time, and one of the greatest openings. You hear, they did the roll call, and then, hey, let's be careful out there. That was my first introduction into the nighttime drama, so it was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Absolutely.
Sorvino, man, just a great actor. Everything he was in, it was better because he was in it. He was just great in that mob guy role, that look. I loved him as Paulie and Goodfellas, but one of my favorite shows of all time, Law and Order. He was one of the first detectives, and that was just really, really good stuff. And David Warner, man, he was so cool. That voice, he played a creep really, really good. And I didn't know him by name, but everything I ever seen him, man, I thought he was really cool. And as what's her name called him in Titanic, Undertaker of a Manservant. He was really great in that role. So I just wanted to mention that about those guys.
No, thank you for that. So on Twitter the other day, a woman tweeted that she was selling a pair of J.J. Watt edition shoes and a jersey to raise money for her grandfather's funeral. Okay. Put out there on Twitter, and it was picked up by none other than J.J. Watt. He saw the tweet, he messaged her, and he said, basically, keep the jersey and the shoes, we'll help pay for the funeral, and he paid for the woman's grandfather's funeral. He paid her directly through PayPal. I just thought that was great. It wasn't asking him directly for anything. He just happened to see that she was selling his jersey and shoes, helped a random lady out, random act of kindness.
Yeah. I don't want to put the spotlight on just them two, because there are just a number of athletes who just do amazing things in the community for people. But just two right off the rip, man, you just can't say enough of. That is J.J. Watt, as far as giving back, putting his money where his mouth is. And more than just giving money. He goes to work in natural disasters and things like that. And Shaquille O'Neal. I just read a story today. Shaquille O'Neal bought a kid a pair of $6,000 shoes for a similar purpose. Just kudos to those two guys, man, for just always thinking of others. J.J. Watt will always be great in my book for single-handedly raising, I think, over $50 million for the last natural disaster we had, just showing people how it was supposed to be done. Just great job, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then this week in pop culture history. So we're shooting this on Monday, July the 25th. So all the way back in 1990, today, one of the most infamous versions of the National Anthem was sung by Rosanne Barr. Now, you might remember this, where she sang the whole thing like Rosanne Barr, kind of off-key, like almost as a character. You might remember at the end of it, she grabbed her crotch and turned like she was spitting on the mound, And she quickly learned that don't mock the
Americans
national anthem in any way, shape, or form. That really hit her hard in her career there for a minute. So she had to kind of work her way back from that. So it made me think about just further. I don't want to do a whole list. Obviously, we've done a lot of lists here this evening. But do you have any particular best or worst versions of the national anthem that you can recall beyond this? Probably what might make a list of your list of one of the worst.
That's easy.
Go ahead,
Carl Lewis.
I think we'll all have the same.
Carl Lewis was bad. Yeah, that was really bad.
But Whitney Houston, man, right after the war
Desert Storm.
started, man, come on, that was, I think, the sense of patriotism flew through.
That was life changing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a special moment. The emotion in her face and her voice. Proud to be an American. That was great. But I want to say this about the whole Roseanne thing. she took a lot of flack, and rightfully so. There's just some things you don't blatantly disrespect. But you know what? I don't think she should have been excoriated as she was, as the person who had hired her to do it. She's a comedian.
Well, that's true too.
She did what she does. So that person, I should have been put on blast more than Rosanne Barr, in my opinion.
I do remember on Saturday Night Live, she made an appearance on there, and then she made an appearance like on a game show. I think it was Jerry Seinfeld would have been hosting it. It was something like that. But basically, it was like stuff. It was like a Jeopardy stuff you should never make fun of. It was like the national anthem, and she had to basically. So she had to basically. It was her making fun of herself,
right,
and making fun of the national anthem a little bit. She learned that. No, you can't do it. Okay, so yeah, I tend to agree with you. Whitney Houston's version at that moment. First of all, one of the most, like you say, one of the most perfect vocals ever
and
of the national anthem you're ever going to hear in your life. And like I said, it just right at the war with patriotism and everything else. I remember them. It was during the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
And it was painting the crowd, so many people just streaming tears, and it just made you feel a lot of pride and everything else. So
in my
agree.
opinion, there should be no list of worst performances, because who is hiring these people? Do you do your due diligence? Can they sing? You know what I'm saying? True. There should be no worst performances. Don't hire people that's going to do stupid stuff or can't sing. It's really kind of simple.
I agree with you. By the way, one of the coolest versions of the anthem of all time, go check out if you've never heard it, during the 80-something All-Star game, NBA All-Star game, Marvin Gaye did a version of the national anthem that was really unique and cool. He took some flack for it, but he got a standing ovation at the Forum in Los Angeles. It was definitely an LA version of the national anthem by the late great Marvin Gaye. So check that out if you've never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just checking the time. July 27th, all the way back in 1940, Billboard magazine started its charts. So that obviously was a springboard to eventually the radio programs, the top 40. Everything's based on the Billboard magazine top 40. Casey Kasem had obviously a radio show for many, many years, which still, I believe, exists today with others out there.
Ryan Seacrest is doing it.
Ryan Seacrest, that's right. So every single weekend without fail, I go back and listen to the rerun of a replay of some random year with Casey Kasem in the week. I just love it. I think it's just fun, and it's a fun and interesting way to listen to some music. I don't know. I've enjoyed that for some time. Are you guys fans of the Billboard, the top 40 radio programs, or is it just not interest you whatsoever? Keith, what do you think about all that?
I used to be a huge fan, and I guess you would say I still am. And I think right now technology has ruined some of the great things like that for us, because everything is so easily accessible now. The anticipation of waiting. What's the next song? What's the number one song? You know, all that's kind of gone right now because information is just out there. So I'm still a huge fan of that stuff. It's just hard to enjoy some of those things nowadays.
I guess I agree. Skinner, what do you think about it? Top 40 Billboard.
I love it. I got a quick story. My cousin, who is got some autism issues, he's a year older than me. Used to write down from 40 to number one every single week, probably for 10 years straight. He had 3-ring binders full of each week. He would put down each artist and the song title for 40 to number one. So that was big back when we were growing up. And I think what Keith said is right. Technology has kind of ruined that anticipation for everybody nowadays with the Billboard.
Yeah, I don't even know how they do it anymore. They must do it like by streaming and downloads. There must be it's got to be a whole different formula for how they calculate that stuff anymore. I don't know. Yeah. All right. And July 27th, also, same year, 1940, the debut of definitely a cartoon character that was near and dear to our hearts growing up, I'm sure. Still arguably my favorite cartoon character of all time, Bugs Bunny. The first Bugs Bunny cartoon debuted all the way back in 1940. It received an Academy Award nomination for Best Cartoon Short Subject that year. So Bugs Bunny all the way back in 1940.
Wow.
Yeah. Not many cartoon characters greater than him. The influence, the great voice by the great Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
Fabulous, terrific. What's up, Doc? And Mel Blanc actually chewed carrots to record the voice, and he hated carrots. He was allergic, he would spit them out into a cup or something. But anyways, the lengths of the personality, the New York personality of Bugs Bunny. So one of my favorite characters. So, Keith, were you a Bugs Bunny fan of the old Looney Tunes? Where does he rank amongst your favorite characters of all time? Go ahead.
Yeah, he's up there, probably number 2. In the world of your Mickey Mouse and all these other cute, lovable characters, he brought some sass, little smart aleckness, little ingenuity, to the whole animation thing. I love the guy, but he's my number 2. For me, man, nobody's better than Foghorn Leghorn. That's my guy,
so good. So good.
Good. Boy, stop reading long-haired books. That boy is about as sharp as a bowling ball. That's my boy right there. So, but I love Bugs.
Yeah, absolutely. Skinner, Bugs Bunny.
I agree with you. Yeah, he's up there, probably number 2 for me as well. Number 1 I got is Daffy Duck, or not Donald Duck. Excuse me, from Disney. But yeah, Bugs Bunny. Sass, sarcasm. They didn't care whose feelings he was going to step on, but he wasn't a rude cartoon character, but he would step on people's toes, and I think that's what we adored him so much for.
And I like when he'd say something, then look in the camera and comment, "Hey, this guy must be from Jersey," So
right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, guarantee there's plenty of adults in our generation that if they got lost or something like that, they would probably say something like, "I should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque."
I've said it a million times. Yep.
And our kids are like, "What in the hell are you talking about?" I'm sure. So, yeah, good old Bugs Bunny. All right. Well, another one of our favorite things beyond Bugs Bunny is our lovely sponsors of this program here, gentlemen. So I want to mention here quickly, RPM Bike Shop, quality electric bikes at an affordable price, family-owned business out of Carrollton. You don't need to take a left turn at Albuquerque to get to Carrollton, Ohio. You just simply take 77 South to, I think it's 30 East or West, something like that. You'll find it. It's very easy to find to get into Carrollton, Ohio. But RPM Bike Shop, check them out on Facebook and their website, and they will appreciate your support. They won't. They'll answer the phone. That's right. So, okay, and finally, Keith, our favorite character of this podcast, I think. That's right. Another terrific outro coming your way for your listening pleasure by the great Mike Skinner.
Has been an interesting show. Like the curveball that you gave us, Keith, with the list. We'll definitely.
I'll try to be more prepared next time.
Right. We'll definitely expand on that with some 80s or some Gen X stuff later on down the road. But for Brian Fisher, Keith Porter, I'm Michael Skinner. We're the guys from Gen X. We appreciate your listening ears, and we will talk to you again next week. Have a great summer week, folks. Take care.
What's up, Doc?
Keith Porter here, a.k.a. Porterhouse from It Came From Gen X. We hope you've been enjoying the show, but please make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.